Hey friend, today we're going to be talking about why a nutrition plan may not work for you. This may be a very controversial topic coming from a nutritionist who specializes in custom nutrition plans. So let's dive in. If you don't know me, I'm Sharlene Styles. I'm a holistic nutritionist and holistic life coach. I predominantly work with midlife women who are struggling with hormones, metabolic imbalances that often come wrapped in a heavy blanket of extra weight. So, when I bring up this topic about a nutrition plan is maybe not the thing that's going to help you or why it may not work, may send your head in a little bit of a bender. So, let's unpack this. The deal is most people think that they need a nutrition plan. And while that may be true, it is very helpful to understand how to support our bodies in the most effective way. Knowing what to eat is certainly helpful, and particularly in midlife. There are, many imbalances that come to the surface after being alive on this planet for a few decades, where we have, imbalances that are accumulated from our lifestyle, from the foods that we've eaten, the nutrient deficiencies, the excesses, the toxins, the EMFs, the environment, and then for funsies, we throw in a whole shakeup of our hormonal system. So this can really create a perfect storm when we are confused about what works because everything that we used to do no longer works. And we think what we need is a nutrition plan. And while that may be helpful, I would invite you to consider this thought. If I were to give you a nutrition plan customized to you for free, would you actually follow it? So, this is the work, and this is why nutrition plans alone just don't cut it. The real thing is what we need is a map to understand how our body works, how to support it at this juncture of life in a way that suits our lifestyle, and also how do we integrate this into our patterns, our beliefs, our habits that we've accumulated at this stage of life. Often, when you reach your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, we have some pretty solid likes, preferences, habits, routines that are hanging on that we don't necessarily or voluntarily want to give up. So, what happens is that our default mode keeps taking the same path and the same patterns over and over and over again. That's one element. Another element is we have not been taught how to not only how to nourish our bodies, but actually how our bodies actually work. I didn't understand my body and the intricacies of this amazing vessel that we have as a human body until I went to nutrition school. So we don't get taught this. Nobody teaches us this in school. We might learn in physical ed a little bit about A and to B and how reproduction happens, but we don't really understand anatomically the physiology, the mental, the emotional aspects. We're not taught this, not by our schools, not by our parents, well, perhaps by our parents, but we're being modeled from wherever they got their information or are, potentially from our caretakers or parents of origin who may have their own slants or biases or inaccuracies or preferences. So the people around us, the information that comes from may not be accurate or truthful or even fitting to us. Our medical system certainly doesn't teach us how to care for our bodies. In fact, they're not even trained in nutrition, or very small segments are trained actually in nutrition. And in our medical system, where I am in Canada, North America, we have specialists. They deal in very specific silos of different parts of the body. It's not very typical. We have a generalist that knows all aspects of the human body. So, where do we get this information from, right? So, here we are in midlife being very imbalanced and then trying to figure out the terrain of our body. And based on what we've heard by perhaps marketing agencies, people selling magazines or books. Definitely influenced by the diet culture, eat less, exercise more, be in a calorie deficit. That's how you support yourself and lose weight, which is all BS. That may be a whole topic for another conversation. So there's so much confusion. And I think it's my belief, I don't think, it's my wholehearted belief that understanding how our body works is really the cornerstone to being able to maintain it, to nourish it, right? If we're going to try to maintain a car, yeah, we can drop it off at the mechanic for it to be taken care of. But if we understood the intricacies of it, we can do it ourselves, right? So when we go and drop our body off at a mechanic, at a doctor, at a practitioner, we're really giving our power away to someone else's specialty without really being the generalist to understand how things actually work. So this is why, in my opinion, a nutrition plan doesn't work. I tried this many years ago, early in my days as a nutrition consultant. When I had an office, I would create the most beautiful nutrition plan. I'd spend hours, and then I would hand it off to someone. I would work with them for a little while and a couple of sessions, and invariably they couldn't stick to the plan. They were all gung ho, when in the beginning, when we either have some kind of a motivation or pain to get some different results, right? Whether that's weight loss or a health situation or issue that we're trying to rectify. The motivation is there in the beginning, but really what happens when we have that plan, the real work is to follow it and follow it in a way that feels supportive and not restrictive, like you're following a diet. So, in my opinion, the plan on its own is not any good. We need to understand how our body works, and this is why I'm so keen on educating my clients and you as the public to understand your own organism and how to nourish it. And then the next part is how our brain works and how our brain it wants to keep us in the same path, the same loop that is familiar and comfortable without making any changes. This, my friends, in my opinion, is the real work and the reason primarily why I've set up my program and my coaching and my support the way that I have. It's not just to hand you a nutrition plan because it doesn't work. That itself is not the answer. We need to understand how our body works so that we can care for it. And we also need to understand how our brain works and wants to keep us in the same loop so that we can parent it, override it, and make some changes that are significant and can last your entire life. Because I'm going to tell you, my friend, nothing, nothing feels as good as feeling good feels. That's the hook. The weight loss is a nice bonus and it's a great result, but the real magnetism, the real hook is feeling good, feeling alive, feeling motivated, energized, inspired. That, my friends, is what we're after. And a nutrition plan itself can't do that when we can't understand or override the old patterns and the old loops. It's my hope for you today. Of course, I would love to create a nutrition plan for you. I just don't think that's what you need. I think you need the whole package if you want to get results that last for life and that will transform your body and which will, in ripple effect, transform your entire life. I assure you, it works. And I hope that you can either find someone, if I can help you, I would be honored to have a conversation to see if we're a good fit. But you do not just need a plan, my friend. You need something much deeper, and it's an understanding and a conversation with your body so you can help support her to move forward and get the results that you truly need. I hope this lands for you, and I would invite your comments or concerns or feedback here. And if you do want to have a conversation, of course, reach out. We can make that happen. I do offer a complimentary 30-minute consultation. It's by phone or Zoom, depending on where you are. And we can just see what's going on, what's going up for you, what you're struggling with, and if my system, my approach may be a good fit for you. Anyhow, I'll leave that with you, and I'm going to wish you well and say bye for now, and I'll see you in the next episode.